the DRC's industry minister says artisanal mining is not the future for the sector. Watum has told SABC News in Davos that African countries should seek real investment in the sector and train young people to play a meaningful role. Watum is speaking on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum. SABC News economics editor Tshepo Mongoai has more.
Well, the World Economic Forum here in Davos is undergoing, of course, a lot of discussions that are happening with a lot of discussions around investment, artificial intelligence, and of course, opportunities that are available in various respective countries. And of course, the African continent is also represented here, seeking partnership and areas of investments in various economic countries of the continent. And of course, for more, we are now joined by the Minister of Industry and SME in the DRC, Honorable Watum. Minister, thank you very much for making time to speak to the SABC. How are the engagement going so far?
Thank you very much. Great to be in Davos, cold Davos, but a great interaction here, great networking, meeting with people and exchanging ideas and talking about infrastructure development, talking about where Africa should go. And I think it's a good place to have this conversation.
Minister, there are, of course, lots of investors, and I know the DRC, being rich in mineral and commodities, is exploring such partnership and investments. What kind of discussions are you having and in terms of investors who are you also engaging?
Well, DRC, as you know, is a country with a mineral endowment second to none on this planet. But everything that has been exploited until today in DRC, it's still less than 10% of its mineral endowment. So there's 90% plus out there, which is a pretty new deal we can discuss. Now, many African governments, including DRC, have understood that you don't attract money just by declaring what you have. You got to take steps. You got to show good governance. You got to clamp down on corruption. You got to demonstrate these things so that you attract investment. And DRC has been doing just that. A few weeks ago, we've signed with the IMF a very good package of $2.8 billion. And this is testimony to the great efforts happening in the DRC. They can recognize the effort to fight corruption, the effort in the discipline in public spending, and they can see the country going the right direction. And of course, it's still work in progress. A lot still need to be done, but you are getting there.
Yeah, definitely. There's been some visible steps that the DRC is taking. We've seen that last week. There were a number of Chinese nationals who were arrested for illegal mining. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I guess in any country in the world, if you're breaking the rules, you got to face the full might of the law. It happened in South Africa, it happens in DRC, it's happened in China as well. They were caught breaking the rules, so they're facing the full might of the law, simply.
So does that speak to measures that you are really taking to ensure that you clean up the mining industry and you allow serious investors to come in?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
And then tell us other areas of investment that you are exploring here at the World Economic Forum for the DRC.
There's one thing, the talk of the day is critical minerals, green transition, and all these buzzwords. And we tend to forget the fundamentals here. Well, there will not be any critical minerals if you don't go fund them on the ground. That means you need greenfield exploration. You need to spend money, put dollars on the ground, because those who put dollars on the ground today are the ones who discover deposit tomorrow and then mine this deposit to supply these critical minerals. Today's exploration budget in the world is around $15 billion. Africa, which is home to more than 60% of the world minerals, attract less than 3 or 4% of this money. It's not clearly enough. So we need to spend a lot of money there. But we also need to look at Africa as a continent DRC also as a country, with the larger proportion of the young population. I mean, there's mean age in DRC, for instance, is 70 years. You're talking of 100 million people. We got to educate the youth. We got to invest in human capital. We got to train them. We got to give them proper education. If we fail to do that, then we've missed it. So a lot of talk here has been about how do we attract resources to educate our youth, but also to capacitate them and to fund them for those who are going into entrepreneurship and open markets to them, because entrepreneurship is very important for economies, not only in DRC or Africa, for the rest of the world. But we've got to take steps to make it happen.
And what's the space of artisanal mining? Because sometimes there's a fine line between illegal mining and artisanal mining. And we see that there is a focus on it so that it gives local communities opportunities.
Let's face it, artisanal mining will never be a sustainable. Let's face it. Let's not hide things under the carpet. Why am I saying this? Because an artisanal miner can dig down to a limited depth. After that, he has to go to the next point and dig again. Maybe 15 meters, 20 meters, I don't know. Which is already dangerous, by the way. But that sterilizes everything that is underneath, which is left there. So I think we need to make a great effort as leaders in Africa to give alternatives to the youth, to train them. Again, it's back to training, educating, investing in human capital, so that they start being pushed towards more sustainable activities and jobs gradually. It will take time, but I think we need strategies, and then we need to implement these strategies. Because artisanal mining is not the future. The future is train our youth so that they can do an honest and clean and safer job, and educate the families and raise the families.